All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the Run Home Podcast, where I'm your host, Jason Zubaz, and I am joined today by my man, my friend, Luke T. Luke, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here, man. I appreciate you doing it on kind of short notice, but I just knew it was a Sunday. I was hoping that we could pull it off, and it all worked out. So I appreciate that. One of the questions that I wanted to start with, because I am really curious, is first time I met you was in the Classic League.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I was most interested about is, unlike anybody that has ever come in and out of that league, or any league really, you came in and had a real knowledge and respect for the history of the league. You were able to quote things that happened like years before you even got there. I'm curious, like, how'd you find the league? How'd you get into it? And what got you into the history part of it?
Well, I joined CSFBL in 2015, I think. And I was playing some different leagues. Smitius, or I call him Smitius,
Yep.
was doing some of like the league stats and all of that. And I was just like, I think G Sparks had invited me to join GOAT number 2. And so we were just like looking at different owners, and I was like trying to explore, and I was really active on the forums. So I eventually found TCL, and once I got there, there were a few people like Afro who had like one of your quotes in his signature.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I would go down some of those rabbit holes.
Well,
Like
yeah, because you could click on those, couldn't you? And it would take you to
yeah,
the thread. Yeah.
exactly. And then so I read like the Wild Wild West Wolf game. I read your stories at like UNLV, um, just a few of those threads, the controversy thread.
Oh yeah, the controversy thread. Yeah, that's a good one, because you can find the controversies from all over CSFBL there, and there was some
Yeah,
legendary threads that came that were linked there.
not all of the links work now though, but you can get the gist of some of the controversies, like with
the
with D-Man and those
yeah,
guys.
the D-Man ones were so good. My favorite thing about D-Man, RIP, was that this narrative that he always had, that he claimed that he made money somehow from the controversy, but he wouldn't tell anybody how. And he claimed it was based on like views, and that's why he was so inflammatory. But he would always do it on the back end of getting proven wrong, or getting proven like he was lying about something. And then he would say, well, I was just doing it for the money because I get these page views. Like, he had an answer for everything.
Hey, he was the first CSFBL influencer.
He was. he was just generating controversy, because all publicity is good publicity.
There you go.
I could go on a rabbit hole about D-Man stories, and I probably shouldn't, because I would go for an hour, but there is some just genuine gold ones. But just a 30-second version of it. My first time that I discovered that D-Man might be a crazy person is, he had this story about, he wanted to start a league, and then all these people, like minutes after, were like, I'll join. This sounds like a great league. You seem like a great leader. And when it looked so odd, and then you started researching, all these new accounts were his ultimately. And then set that aside. Then you fast forward, I think it was a couple of years, there was this thread about this member named Red Dog who died, and D-Man started this memorial for him. And I went back and I was like, I think this Red Dog was one of his multis. And then you
No
saw
way.
some of these other multis jump in and be like, D-Man, thanks for setting up this memorial. And it was all fake. And it was like this big, huge thing. He tried to start the CSFBL memorial. after this guy that wasn't even real. And I wrote this big thread about exposing it. It was one of my favorite things to do ever. It was like becoming an internet researcher to expose D-Man.
Wow,
He was the
that's
best.
awesome.
I gotta link that thread somewhere because it's still a classic. So D-Man will forever live in our hearts because he actually did pass away. He was a good guy, a good heart guy, but just a crazy person.
Yeah, I think oh, that just thinking of that thread then reminded me of like Bill and the Mustang, and then I was thinking I think Andujar is the one who bumped a lot of these videos. Like Tree Fort was one of my favorite ones.
Which one?
Tree Fort.
Oh, Tree Fort. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that was a real story. That was very strange. Like I was living in Iowa. I don't remember exactly if I just went out and saw it or I don't think I heard him. I think I found the Tree Fort first. But they had it stocked too. There was like Mountain Dew up there. There was, and somebody built a tree fort in my yard. What a strange situation that was. That
That's
house,
awesome.
that house in Iowa was also haunted too. It was the only time I've ever actually believed in ghosts. And I have this YouTube video that I'll share at some point of me taking it for my girlfriend at the time. I walked down the stairs, and it's one of the more strange videos that I've ever done. Anyways, so yeah, the thing. Oh wait, actually, I gotta stop right there because I'm in the playoffs right now in TCL, the Cardinals, and so I'm wearing, because we got a fight with Detroit, so I'm wearing my Sun Prairie Cardinals. This is a hockey sweater, but I'm using it for the battle that I'm in with Trempk. I don't know. Is that how you say his name? You think Trempk?
At one point someone was just like, it's Tony Remke.
Yes.
So that's kind of just what I think of it as.
I went down a rabbit hole with him too. I could never find him though. He's the most mysterious man in CSFBL.
We were talking.
All right, sorry about that. If you saw a little glitch in our recording there, I think my internet went out for a second. Sorry. So you were talking about Trempk or Trempk or Patrick.
Sure. Yeah, Tony. I'm gonna just call him Tony. Yeah, he's the one who does the little drawings too, right?
Yeah, he had some genius little drawings. He was doing memes before memes existed.
I think so.
Yeah. Oh God, he did some funny ones too. Yeah. So, anyways, so I'm wearing this because it's currently undefeated in Sims, 1-0. So I need to. This is my team's last hurrah to win the belt, the greatest prize in all of CSFBL, and I know you won it at one point, and so I have it here. Here it is. Yeah. Now,
Belty.
Pimp put my face on it. I did not do that. I'm not that big of a douche. But I noticed after you won it, it came back with something extra. Still there. You added that. That's not supposed to be there at all.
I'm pretty sure Jelly added that.
Oh, Jelly added? Oh, so it came to you like that.
That's the story I'm going to go with. Do you remember my unboxing video?
Yeah, you had some great video. It was the first time in a while that somebody did some great stuff with it. Video, you took it on a tour. Tell us about it.
I did. So I took it to Cal State Fullerton. I took it to the Richard Nixon Library. I don't know why. I can't remember where else.
It's awesome. When I saw that you were there smiling with the belt, I laughed for like, I don't know, 45 minutes. It was one of the funniest things. It was so surreal that I never thought the belt would be at the Richard Nixon Library. I'm surprised they didn't keep it. They should have made it an exhibit.
Right? put it right next to their West Wing replica. Yeah. I took it to Cal State Fullerton to show the Minnetonka Saints what a college football World Series looks like.
It's so good. You turned it into such a great trash talk tour. I mean, you worked hard for that belt too. That was a good team that you had.
Yeah, that was with Mark the Franchise McKenzie.
Yeah.
That's probably one of my top 3 favorite CSFBL players. He
Tell-
was a
Talk
second
'em through it.
baseman with,
Yeah.
yeah. I think I picked him like 4th overall. He had like 90 batting, 82 something slugging, and he was a 90 ranked second baseman.
And he was fast.
And he
too,
was
wasn't
also the, yeah, I think so. But he was the highest drafted player on that team. I had a bunch of like mid first round guys.
Yeah.
So he really, I think we won his MVP season. He had 1 year he put it all together. That
That's
was the year.
awesome. And that's what you're really trying to do when you build a team like that, right? Like you're trying to just get it so that, they're all at some middle part of that peak and try and put it together at the same time. When you're in a league as competitive as TCL, where everybody is active, most everybody understands the game. It's just so competitive. You almost have to really do a bigger team dynamic. You can't count on having 2 aces and a slugger like you can in some leagues. And
Exactly.
if I remember your team right, like, well, wasn't your pitching staff? It was like 5 finesse guys, wasn't it?
I have to look it up, honestly.
I remember it was like
It
a
was pretty
very,
much just McKenzie and the rest of them. That's why he was the franchise.
yeah.
I was happy too. One time, Rent did his rankings and he referred to him as the franchise. I was like, yes, I got it. Stick.
Yeah. You made a nickname for him. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's great, man. And yeah, I think this is my last year taking a run at it. Well, maybe I have one more, but the team's aging, so I really need to win it. This one, I'm desperation is a terrible cologne, and I have it all over me to take one more shot. I saw. So you're.
I was.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just looking at your team before we came on. I noticed you had Enzo,
Yes.
the blood diamond to beat all blood diamonds.
I've never. I mean, there's been a couple pitchers like him historically where, like, if you want to win a championship, you got to trade for him. And
Yeah, exactly.
and Pax traded for him, won a championship. I traded for him, won the championship that very year. I
Mhm.
should have won it last year too. I'm not sure. Lemke beat me, but and that was a battle of original owners. I think TCL might now be the, I don't, they got to be in the top 5 oldest leagues now, but they certainly have the most activity to them. And Lemke, Goot, and I think are the original owners from 2004. So it was cool to see. If I was going to lose to anybody, I was glad it was him.
Mhm.
But I didn't want to lose to him either. Screw him. I want to win that title, man. And
Yeah.
and so and then I really get to ham up this belt on this podcast if I actually own it. I feel weird showing it until I actually own it. But then also for the game today, we have our mascot, the Cardinal North, and it's like this used car lot thing where I play every time I hit a home run. I get to so Macklemore hit 2 home runs last game, so we got to fire him off. The crowd loves it. They go crazy for him.
That's awesome.
I get way too into it. Do you have backstories for your players in your head? Do you like come up with stories about them?
I don't know about stories. There's definitely players I'm attached to.
Yeah, because
So I'm actually playing Trempk right now in our division, and I'm really attached to Jamar Foster.
Yeah.
and he's one of those guys who can go 147 every series.
Yep.
And he's last year, Pimp didn't beat him, I think, 3 times straight there on the spot. But he's back this year.
Are you guys tied up right now?
3-1 Vista.
All right. I like it. Good. You got to take him down. It's funny, for people, taking down Pimp almost is like winning the World Series. Why is that? Why is he somebody that everybody just craves to beat?
Because he's got all these records. He's always in it. It's just, I think he's my favorite person to play on the site right now.
For sure. He's one of the best owners ever. Actually, I know you're just starting your way up in Remake, and I'm in the Remake East with the Indians against his vaunted most historic New York Yankees, and so I get to try to beat him on a regular basis coming up too. And I just like, it's like you love to hate him. He's just such a great, like, happy villain.
Yeah, we just got to get some more competitive owners in his league so he can have a little challenge.
That's right. Yeah, I really think I was glad to see that you're in Remake. I really want to help turn Remake into like just this the center of a lot of the game again, because the way that the promotion process worked, if you had more active people, you could also add some level of relegation to it too, which I don't know if the Remake community would be into that, but I just think the Remake idea has lasted longer than almost any other idea, and I love the idea. I've made it all the way to Remake twice, and it takes a long time.
The concept is really cool.
It's great, right? What team do
Yeah.
you have in Remake AA right now?
Midland.
Midland. Oh, the Rockhounds. Yeah.
Yeah. I just refer to them as the band. There's a random country band that is called Midland. So that's in
really?
my head what the team is.
Are you a country fan?
No.
Oh, they just that's how.
Yeah, one time I went to a Thomas Rhett concert and they were opening. That's not my typical genre, but they were cool.
But Midland's now your favorite band, or the Midlands?
Oh, I don't know if we're going with that.
Yeah,
At one point, my TCL team was named the Misty Mountain Hoppers after Led Zeppelin.
Oh, I never put that together for some reason. Yeah, that's awesome. Why did you change it?
I don't think I had won a World Series yet at that point. I remember Smatias beat me with a team that had absolutely no range, and I was just like, I can't keep this team name. Got to change it up.
Oh yeah, so you had you had a purge. You had to purge the team name, the team, everything.
Exactly. Get rid of Gruden, all of that.
Oh God, if I would have planned this out better, I would have waited until we were in the World Series together to do this podcast, because we're both going to make it there, obviously.
Oh wow! As soon as this comes out, I'm going to be knocked out. It's going to happen.
I know. I just jinxed us both, didn't I? Do you believe in the jinx?
Yeah.
I do too. I do too.
I believe it's stronger than just the forums. It's expanding into Discord, expanding into Zoom, everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, if we both get knocked out this round, I owe you an enormous apology for saying that. Like an I might have to change my team name. I might have to change my actual name, get a new social security.
You might have to trade me Slate and Lombardi.
I think Slate is one of the few guys ever that I'll just be like, he's going down with the ship. I can never trade him away. Even though, like, I've said that before, and I traded like Rufus Mickelson, who's one of the greatest players ever. So maybe not, but boy, God, I love that guy.
Right? I don't understand how I get so attached to like just these names and numbers.
Yeah, there's not even
But
a
some of these
picture of it.
guys, yeah, they just you need them to come through for you, and they do. I remember I was trying to get Terrence Erico away from Humboldt for like 3 or 4 seasons, and Mac was just like, nope, shut it down every time, wouldn't even discuss it.
Yeah, you wouldn't trade. It's like, you want me to trade you one of my kids? No way. It's family.
Yeah, that's how they feel.
What? And so one of the other, I need you to explain to me uh, if that relegation league works and how it works, because that's one of the other leagues you're in. And I think there's only like 4 people in it. But I looked at your team there, and it's like called Speed City or something. And that team is on pace for 1,400 steals this year, which is fucking absurd. I think a fast team would get like 200 steals. What is going on with that league? What's going on with that team?
Yeah. So there's a little backstory in
Okay.
PCL. If you look for the undefeated thread,
Yep.
Andujar wanted to see if it was possible for a team to go undefeated. So
Yeah. So
he
he had to perfect everything around the team, all the other teams, all their manager settings, all their pitchers. Like, it was heavy maintenance, but
exactly.
could it be done? Yeah.
Yeah. So we're in the second try this year. Oh, so he was saying, "Oh, it's going too slow. Could I get some help? Like, we need some runners in here to speed it up." So I'm like, "Sure, but can I do like my own little thing?" So I made a team. They're kind of scrubs, but they all have like at least 86 speed. And I cranked up the speed or the steals settings and all of that. And last year we did crack 1,000 steals, and then we were 1 game short of the World Series. So that was fun.
But then what do you do when you're facing Andujar? Do you turn everything down?
No, my team is like his team is that good, and my team is still kind of scrubby. I think there's maybe 2 guys making more than a million. So we just let him go, and Andujar is 6-0 against them in the 2 seasons we played.
You know what I like about the idea of that league is you guys get to try to experiment on things that you wouldn't ever be able to do normally, even in like an old Greek league, because you have more control over the league, so you can do stuff like
Mhm.
that. It's fun to have a little sandbox like that.
Yeah, I was thinking just like trying to see what I could break or see what records could shatter. And I think another some of the cool features that I like too are like just the team leaders. So it gives you a top 10 of like these different kind of things. And in 1.5 years, almost 2 seasons, every single person on the steals leaderboard for the team is part of the Speed City slot.
That's so awesome. Um, you know what? A league I had, God, this has to be 12, 13 years ago now, but I started a league called Charlie Foxtrot, which is in the military, you call clusterfucks, Charlie Foxtrots. And and the league had no rules. You could collude, you could trick, you could um, you could do anything. You could do anything to circumvent the rules. And I just wanted to see what people would do. Well, as
Mhm.
you can imagine, what happened very quickly is people would recruit other owners to take over teams, trade them all the good players. But it was okay, right? Because then sometimes
Yeah,
you would get some of those owners to screw over the person they're trading with, because you had to do a lot of trade backs back then. You couldn't assign players. And so we would trick each other into doing a trade, but then not trading back the player and sending them to another team. And so
wow.
it really was a Charlie Foxtrot. And once we start to get the game more active and getting more people in, I'm bringing back that league because I think it's a great way for the kind of like white hat hackers, right? Like, you can get into the league and see what you can break, see what you can do. But also, I probably learned more from the 5 or 6 seasons that was around than I learned anywhere in that period of time, because you could take things to like these really weird extremes that you couldn't do in a normal league.
Yeah. Yeah, part of the undefeated challenge. I'm not sure it's possible to make a team that goes undefeated,
I
which I kind of like. I like the odds for baseball in general as well as the sim.
yeah. I uh God, I want to try that too now because I feel like if you didn't, well, I'm going down the same rabbit hole Andujar did, and it
Right.
turned into a crazy amount of work for him. So I don't want to do that, but God, I want to try that too. Because that idea I think came from redraft initially and playing all those drones, which is another league that takes
Mhm.
things to an extreme. But that's what I love about where we're headed with the game is and it's my plan, my vision is really based on two things short term and two things long term. But the two things short term are make everything that can be flexible, and expand the access to data to an extreme. Like in my head, I would love to get past the data points of even Major League Baseball and sabermetrics. And you see that even with how like Jelly designed XRC and XRAAs to try and do it more appropriately for CSFBL. And I really think that like we could long term, crowdsource some really cool metrics that I think haven't been done previously.
Yeah, one thing that would be cool is the XRAA for fielding.
Yeah,
That would be really cool.
yeah. Somebody's going to crack that code eventually because um, it gets so confusing how to judge range on teams because it can get very deceiving depending on the players around them, depending on
Mhm.
the ground ball ratios of pitchers and all these other things that tweak it. Because at the end of the day, you're getting 24 or 27 outs, right? And so they have to be
Yeah.
spread around somewhere. So if you have a bunch of strikeout pitchers, it looks like your shortstop might be worse than he is, or whatever.
Mhm. Or it seems like specialty, the SY, that'll drop the BABIP too. So I think maybe I've seen two players on the site use play-by-play data to scrub that and you can get probably more accurate rating.
Okay, yeah, we're breaking some news. I hadn't heard that before because I also feel like there's some other things that I don't think people use that there's some hidden knowledge in. One is back in the day when we didn't have scouting, so we were just using agent salary. Is there was everybody was feeling like there was some link to the weight of hitters uh, to their ability to slug, and I still think there's something there, even though like Slate is a small guy and he still will hit 60 home runs. But then the other thing that's out there is uh, strike to ball ratio that comes up in the box score. But I've never heard anybody talk about that in terms of um, uh, effectiveness.
Well, I mean, I know some owners just like control, especially if you have low EM, because it gets you deeper in the game. I'm not sure if because I think ground balls are such a big thing in the game that maybe the some of those stats like just walks to strikeouts maybe get downplayed.
Yep. Yeah, and that the Sun Prairie team I have now is totally built on that. If you look at it, other than trading for Enzo, it was all just like side guys with one other thing in the red, and that's it. But that's all you really need. If you can get enough ground balls and you have a high range infield, you can probably be competitive in almost all leagues, regardless of your hitting. But if you can add some bangers on there too, you become unstoppable pretty quick.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
So okay, so I've been asking everybody this, and I'm curious about like your personal experience with baseball because, like I was telling you via text last night, I think that's what is cool about baseball is everybody describes their experience, not so much as like, I was a Packers fan since I was a kid, and that's all they can come up with, but they come up with like some personal connection to baseball. What's yours?
I'm from the Anaheim area. The Angels won the World Series in 2002, so I was like a second grader, third grader. Um, I had actually never seen or played baseball before that, but the next door neighbors, their dad was a huge Angels fan, and about that same time, yeah, it had to be like third grade. Backyard Baseball came out, and it was made by a small Seattle company called Humongous Sports. And I don't know if
Oh,
you've ever played backyard baseball.
no, I've
Uh,
heard of it, but I've never played it.
okay, it's pretty much just like a cartoon. They get the license for 32 or 33 players. I think it was 33 because they were a fan of Seattle, but at the time they came out with the first version, Ken Griffey Jr. had just been traded to the Reds, so they didn't want to like not exclude Junior. So they made it 33, or no, sorry, 31. I'm thinking of the wrong sport.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's this kid named Pablo, and Pablo is just like the greatest. He's just this short, like pudgy little dude, and he just hits dingers. And so my favorite part of that game was like the drafting and just looking at the season stats and all of that. I also my dad is from New York, so at that time Jeter's huge. Um, so I didn't actually get to see that much of the yeah, there we go. I didn't get to see that much of the Angels World Series. I mean, obviously I remember like Percival on the mound, fly out to Erstad to end it. Um, A-Rod was a big part of that team. Gloss was the World Series MVP, and Eckstein, the little guy.
Eckstein,
Um,
everybody loved him.
yeah, but so after that, it was I was a Jeter fan, so it was Yankees versus Marlins, and part of that was like Pedro Martinez versus Don Zimmer. The that kind of like that fight is etched in my mind. And then Miguel Cabrera was the Rookie of the Year. So I have the Yankees Marlins World Series on box set.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
yeah. And then the year after that, so I'm in like fourth, fifth grade at the time. Everyone is still an Angel fan, so I'm getting a lot of crap at school from teachers and kids because it's Anaheim. And oh, that was the year that the Yankees were the first team to lose up 3-0 to the Red Sox, and then the Red Sox went on to break their curse. So I was just like, I'm over it. I'm done with the Yankees. Switched back to the Angels, and at that point they had gotten Vlad. So Vlad is one of my favorite players. They had Sean Figgins, who was just one of the first utility guys. And from then on, I've been an Angel. But it was a little bit of a journey trying to get into the baseball and the Angels. Uh,
That's that's cool that you have that box set though. Like you and I hear so many people fall in love with baseball around that second grade time frame, that 6, 7, 8 year old time frame. That's when I fell in love with it too. And my first memory actually had to do with the Angels as well, but it was on the other side. It was when the Brewers beat them to go to the World Series in '82, and that was the Rod Carew team. You know, Rod Carew and
mhm.
not Jim Rice on that team. He was with the Red Sox somewhere near there, but um, uh, and they had Reggie Jackson for a while. Like the Angels are amazing, and
They like to get big overpriced names. That's a thing.
yeah, for sure, yeah, for sure. I don't blame you for Vlad, but I'm glad you mentioned Sean Figgins because, like, I don't know if he had a record, but God, I mean, it seemed like every time he came up to either pinch hit or pinch run, he did something great. Like
He was electric.
he was he was amazing,
Yeah,
and he could play what, 5 positions.
I think he played everything in the infield plus maybe left. I think left field. So yeah, five.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. That's a good memory. So you still live in that area too?
Yeah,
Yeah,
still in Orange County.
yeah, that
So
cool.
yeah, I suffer for maybe 5 or 6 months. The Angels get knocked out. I'm like, let's just watch the Dodgers. I went to Cal State Fullerton. Justin Turner is a Titan, so I just flipped the switch into Dodger mode and get to have some fun in the world in the playoffs too.
Yeah, so that's your backup love is the Dodgers now, or just this year?
Yeah, I'm gonna get some crap for that, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I was
Dodgers.
gonna say,
There's enough Dodger fans around the area too. It's it's a thing.
yeah, that's a little like switching from the Cubs to the White Sox, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it plays.
Hey, at least it's not like it's the NL and the AL, so it's not like they're true rivals,
Yep,
but
yep.
it
It
is
just,
what it is.
well, that's great, man. Well, I appreciate you doing this. I think we've already gone over 30 minutes, but before we wrap it up, is there anything you wanted to make sure we talked about or got out there, or any trash talk you want to send to Pimp, anything like that? At least throw that in
Uh,
there.
Pimp, you have a great team. I expect you to win the World Series this year, so go Saints.
That's good.
I know I'm gonna lose in 7, so we just gotta have some small pride.
Yeah, and I'll do the same thing with Patrick Trempino. Um, we gotta. I thought I was going to win earlier in this podcast. It turns out I'm not. Congratulations. Good luck facing Pimp. I lost in 7, and I'm extremely disappointed about it. So we will wallow in our losses.
Yep, sounds good.
All right, Luke, come back on sometime. Actually, I have an idea for you to come on with 1 or 2 other people. We'll have a little group talk about some things coming up. So if you're willing to come back, I'd love to have you.
Cool, that'll be fun.
All right, that's it, everybody. Thanks for checking in. Until next, I got to come up with a line like, "Okay, now it's time to run home," but that seems a little indulgent.
Hey, you could sign off with the Cleveland little Mario coin when you score a run.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
actually
because
that's
we
cool.
ran home.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, I'll have that ready for next time. Until next time, it's time to run home.
There
All
you
right,
go.
see you, everybody. Thank you.